Tic Talk, Tic Talk, Tic Talk, Talk.
A real Celtic talk show by real Celtic fans from the Carluke Shamrock Supporters Club on Hail Hail Media.
Tic Talk, Tic Talk, Tic Talk, 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 Talk.
Hail, hail, and welcome to Tic Talk with the Carluke Shamrock Celtic Supporters Club. This session is being recorded on Monday, the 5th of November 2012. My name is Richard, and you can find more information about the club at carlukeshamrock.com, and this podcast and all the Celtic Family podcasts at hailhailmedia.com. Now, on this Guy Fawkes night, we have coming in on the panel
Stephen,
Andy,
Scott, Kevin, aka Quincy.
Quincy.
That's Jason. Yeah, I'm 40.
You seen his nice wee tweet?
I'm not happy with
It's Quincy on the panel.
He's got his boss booted when we go to the book launch. He was resurrecting it last night, the night just to wind me up.
Oh, brilliant. If anybody's not clear on the Quincy, then they can check back in the last TikTok. And the doctor references from our Kevin. Outstanding stuff. We'll try and get to that level tonight. We'll see how we go.
Hydrocephalus. It was an easy mistake
It was
to
so
make.
easy. It was so, looking back, with hindsight, it was so easy.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't opened my mouth.
Oh,
Anyway.
Yes, no, my thanks to Kevin and Stephen, because the listeners will know they were on the last show, but they pulled in at the last minute to bail us out because two shocking guys for the Shambolic, Michael and Peter, fell apart at the last minute. Pathetic. And who else do we have? 2 stars for the young team, who came in tonight with, what's the hashtag for the hats?
Cheat the chill.
Cheat the Chill.
Cheat the Chill Bobble hats. Outstanding. Which they've now removed before
Bobble or Bobble? Bobble.
Bobble. No, listen.
I thought, is that a correct pronunciation there? Bobble.
Even Bobo wouldn't be hard enough to wear these hats. They're ludicrous. And Scott's particularly brave because yours is red, white and blue, aren't they?
Navy, but
That's the accusation at least.
What?
So there we
Never
go.
told
Aye,
that.
wait till you see us. They're
Turn
going to
this
wear
off
them.
to wear them in and then turn it back on. So there's no
They're
evidence.
going to wear. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, look at the state of that. Now, Stephen, at any point in your childhood, could you carry that off?
Wife?
See, he's got hair and I've no, so I can kind of get away with it.
And that's
I think you
why this
recognise
is
me
a
yesterday.
He was wearing it
podcast.
yesterday at the game, so he
I don't
was.
think you recognise
now
me,
you
mate.
come to mention it.
Cheat the chill, but they do the job, boys.
Oh, I
Brilliant.
think the last time I wore a hat like that was when I was at Lourdes with HCPT, when we all had to wear individual coloured hats to identify the groups. And I have to say, goodness me,
I would rather my ears just fell off with the cold, to be perfectly honest.
They're quite a statement, boys. I'll say that for you. Well
You
done.
can take it off now. We're indoors, we're not
we're
outdoors.
indoors.
I don't want it. My ears are nice and warm.
As your mum will say, you'll no feel the benefit of them. Righty-ho, let's crack on. So, first up, we obviously look back to our last game, which was Dundee United 2, Celtic 2. So, let's build this up, because I want to know a couple of things here, boys. The young team, you headed up on a bus, didn't you?
No.
So, no? Were you know with Johnny?
Johnny.
Did that happen? What was it?
Aye,
A
Johnny
car?
was
Car.
Was it a car, right? I didn't know if it was going to be a wee minibus or something. Right, okay. And there was various tweets beforehand. I want to clarify a few things. Something about Johnny Mackay's Mars bars.
Oh,
Was that done and dusted? Did you,
Aye, we
you
got
supplied them? Was he the driver?
Oh, we got my wee goodie bag, Mars bars, Ripples, Skittles and such.
Necessary stuff.
Was that the equivalent for like apples for the teacher kind of thing, is it?
Mars bars for the driver.
No, that's the advantages of my mum working for Mars, you see. That's it.
Ah, see.
And where's ours tonight?
Where's the
chocolate.
TikTok Mars bars?
Shocking.
Stay good.
He's with Mackay, that's the last
When-
thing he needs, a Mars bar.
Oh,
Didn't he bring any for
you're
us?
on your own there.
No, I'm saving them for Wednesday night.
Right, okay, fair enough. Barca Mars bars. Next up was there was loads of tweets beforehand about the music selection in the car. Was it going to be Justin Bieber or the Wolf Tones? What was the story?
There was none.
There was none at all.
Well,
Were you just singing Christmas songs?
the Wolftone CD couldn't be dug out at the last minute.
Oh, dearie me. Wasn't it just Johnny singing, was it, in the way up?
No.
Right, I can't believe
God.
this young generation that we've got here tonight are talking about the CDs.
CDs, I know.
Rebel pods.
CDs.
What modern forms of entertainment.
I had
Rebel
the, I had the
pods.
cassette.
We even-
Johnny didn't have
the
one.
cassette.
He didn't have one
I
anymore.
know I had the Charlie and the Boys cassette for the Barrowlands I dug out, but
say?
1924.
Are you 42? What's going on here?
That was passed down for the father, generation to generation.
Brilliant. So the next up, I want to know about atmosphere. A couple of things were going on with tweets from various guys. Stephen, yourself, turnstile malfunction was one of your tweets, and you were showing dead long queues. But I've seen since then, and coming back, there's been loads of chat about the police doing a kind of blanket search on the Celtic support.
Well, interesting, Richard, because I got there I arrived at the ground about 12:30 with the wee man,
Right.
and joined a queue that was literally parallel to the rear stand at Dens Park.
So,
Right,
okay.
Yeah,
aye.
all the way down the hill, and boys were getting irate, and the police's explanation was that there'd been problems with the turnstiles and that one of the turnstiles wasn't working. So that's the excuse they were given.
Right.
Now, to be absolutely fair to Dundee United, they replied to my tweet at half time and said that they checked all the turnstiles and there were no problems with the turnstiles. But what appeared to be happening was, as you were getting down to the actual turnstile area, the queues were kind of splitting into individual queues for each individual small turnstile that there was.
Right.
But you're dead right. Folk were getting searched and
Did they get
checked
pulled aside
before
and
they were
stuff?
going in. Yeah.
Right.
But the other problem
God.
the other problem that Kevin noticed, because I didn't get in the ground till 1 o'clock, so we missed the first 15 minutes.
What the hell?
There appeared to be just boys just randomly diving in to the queues all the way down. So the queue wasn't moving. Guys were joining the queue right down where the turnstiles were, and it was just causing absolute pandemonium.
It was a shambles, an absolute shambolic shambles. Went down, and when we got there maybe about 12:15, and the queue was still reasonable long, about 100 yards.
Aye.
And I went straight down to the front, because the way it was, only the first 2 turnstiles out of the bank of 4,
Right.
the first 2 that you come down to, people were getting shepherded in. So
Right.
I went to go to one of the other ones with Declan, and the policeman said, "Oh, the queue's up there," and I turned round to Joseph and said, "That's a shambles." And the copper had a go at me and said, "No, it's not a shambles, we're organising it." I says, "No, it is a shambles." I says, "If you were organising it right, as people were coming down the hill, you'd be making sure that all 4 turnstiles had a steady flow of people."
Aye.
And they weren't doing that. So we went up to the back, and it was, as I said, about 100 yards long, about at 12:15. And at that point, people were just, when they were getting to the front, and that's the first time it's ever happened at Tannadice, they were then getting diverted to the back of the queue, or pointed to the back of the queue, but they never had any police kind of walking up and down the length. So all that was happening was guys, "Oh, how you doing, big man? I've not seen you for like 15 years, and
Nice
just
one.
jumping. And before you know it, there was the queue, which was 100 yards long. You stood for 10 minutes and they didn't actually move.
There was no movement.
It was outrageous, very, very disappointing.
God.
I mean, we were there in relatively good time,
Aye.
and got in, and we made the kick-off by probably about 5 minutes. But I mean, there was, you could tell when you were in there, knowing how long the queue was when you were out, that there was big areas of the ground that didn't fill up for a good while after kick-off. So I agree that they were searching. They weren't searching everyone. It seemed
Right.
as if it was kind of, because they didn't search me, didn't search my brother, didn't search my 12-year-old son. But they were searching anyone who kind of didn't have any colours on, maybe, I don't know, kind of Green Brigade, or
Sure.
people with no colours on, and frisking them to make sure they didn't have, I don't know, smoke bombs or pyrotechnics or whatever.
That kind of stuff.
I don't know if you young boys get searched, because you don't tend to wear any colours either, do you?
Did you manage to get your smoke bombs in? I'm just trying to catch you there. That's a wee police
It's like they
technique.
were saying, see how the kind of park bit to the left, everybody was just coming down that bit and joining
the queue as well.
And
Aye.
it kind of, when you got nearer the nearer you got to the turnstiles, it was kind of no longer a queue. It was just more a big bulk, a group of people,
Right.
just kind of shoulder barging their way into the kind
It was
of
a shambles, the worst I've ever seen it up there. Normally, it's quite straightforward. You've got the 4 turnstiles for the bit behind the goals,
Yep.
and people are joining, because people come up Tannadice Street, and people are coming down Tannadice
Exactly.
Street, so they're just joining at the turnstile that's appropriate, and it just always seems to flow in. But yesterday was just an absolute shambles. And I said they didn't have any cordon any more than 10 feet, 20 feet away from the stadium to actual funnel people. If they had barriers back or something. They were
Aye,
funneling
that
people
kind of
and
thing.
stopping people getting in. It would have been a whole lot easier. But
Just nonsense.
The only thing that made me smile as I was at the turnstile though was having queued for half an hour and finally getting in 15 minutes late. the guy who was trying to get into the turnstile next to me actually had a ticket for the Jerry Care stand.
That's exactly what happened to the boy.
So he'd actually queued for half an hour
Boy
for
who
the
was-
wrong part of the ground.
Exactly the same thing happened. The other boy in front of us, I was just standing behind him. This when I was actually in the turnstile, and he goes, he says to the boy, "That's for the Jerry Care stand," and he goes, "Oh, come on, mate,
See you later.
come on,
Just
mate,
let
just
me
let it in." Let us in. He goes, "No, I can't do that." He goes, "I'm not going to the game." Then he just left, and I was in.
Who the
So
ball was
away.
we didn't get patted down, but I kind of put my arms up to say
Aye.
if I was going to get patted down, and
Right.
I'm not too sure if the
We
steward
did
didn't
get
seem.
patted down with the steward.
Well, the steward
police,
that
we
was
didn't.
the turnstile I was at, it didn't seem as if he kind of spoke any English. Or it wasn't very. He just kind of
Talkative,
nodded at
didn't
me
he?
and
He
just.
just kind of.
You just carried on
a
at
couple,
that point.
certainly a couple of boys in front of us get done, so
Aye.
they were obviously
So something
they
was
were
going on.
obviously doing something, but
Aye.
not necessarily everyone.
The thing is, Richard. I mean, you know, it kind of crystallised it for me. I'd realised that they've got to take health and safety, and they've got to make sure that people aren't getting into the ground with, you know, things that they shouldn't be getting in with.
Bobble has.
Aye, yeah, exactly. But you know, I went out to the pictures at the weekend,
Yep.
and that actually cost me 3 times to go at the game yesterday. It cost me 3 times the cost of a cinema ticket. Now I wouldn't expect to be treated like that.
Going to the cinema.
Going to the cinema, going to a concert,
Aye.
whatever it might be, and we're paying a lot of money to go to these games.
Correct.
And to get treated like that is just absolutely appalling. It was an
Yep.
absolute disgrace.
Aye. And on the kind of treatment and stuff, Andy, I don't know if you can comment on this or not, there was loads of guys also tweeting pictures of the police within the ground. And obviously the Green Brigade, they released a statement just recently about, you know, the focus on them and the intimidation on them. And there was guys releasing pictures of the police with video cameras and all sorts of things surrounding
Yeah.
the Celtic support. Is that something you've seen on the day?
I seen. I don't think it was as evident at Tannadice there,
Right.
but when we were at like the last few home games and that, it's been where we sit. You can see right down, and I think it's area 114. There's almoys at least 5 policemen.
Or it'll be kind of 108. It'll be 108 or 109, I think.
I think it is
And
actually.
it's there's about 4 or 5 policemen.
Well, just
a couple
looking
of
up
stewards
in the
all in a
corner.
row.
Right.
And there's kind of 2 of them one of them holding the camera, and the other one kind of looking at it. And you see it near enough every home game this year. We've seen it every day. And
Especially we were away when we went to Motherwell as well. We just get the train at Carluke, and we got off at Airbones. And from our point of view, we thought it was shocking the amount of police. Do you know what I mean? Because we were practically escorted off the train. Do you know what I mean? Up
Straight to
towards
the- straight to the ground.
straight to
Oh,
the
right.
ground. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
And we get. It was the police that practically walked us to the ground.
never seen so many.
Never
police
seen
at
so many in my
Fir Park
life.
For that
There's a lot of
time.
pictures on Twitter about that as well. Wasn't there?
Right.
The police at Fir Park.
It was the Airbus station that was packed with police.
That was the one.
In the platform. There was literally like so many people on this platform. They were nearly right
Over
at the
the
edge.
edge.
Right.
That's taken back to the bad old
It's
days,
kind
to
of
be honest.
extreme, isn't it?
Well, I remember going to Fir Park, and I mean, there'd be running battles everywhere.
Aye, aye.
25 years ago. You know what I mean, across the flats and that area where you're talking about, around Airbus station and the high rise was always a notorious haunt for the Motherwell casuals and
casuals.
stuff like that. And I can always remember. I mean, Motherwell games when I was growing up were always very, very volatile. So there seems to be a kind of almost a turning back of the clock. But I mean, we spoke about it today at length, Stephen, about the challenges with the behaviour of some of their support, letting themselves down, and it's
Is that something you've seen at Tannadice?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a worry. It doesn't excuse. It's the age old adage about treating people like animals will start behaving like animals.
Sure. Is it the
And
chicken or
it's-
the egg? Is it them pushing it? Or?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, I was there with Declan, who's 12, standing next to my other nephew, who's 10, standing next to Thomas, who's just turned 9,
Right.
and all the guys behind us for a good couple of rows were the C word it just seemed like every 2 minutes.
Right.
The language was, and there's just no awareness that our row in front of them is kind of three kids, 12 and under. And I said to Stephen today, I'm not prude by any manner of means, and every now and then I let rip myself.
Emotions get the better of you.
You've got to have an awareness of what's round about you, and it's a wee bit worrying. That people don't, but I suppose people will listen to this will be like, stop your greeting if you don't want to hear them, expose them to industrial style language, then don't take them to the football. But there's surely some form of middle ground that's available
it's a
where
whole spectrum,
it's
isn't
not
it?
F and C
Every
every 20 seconds or every couple of minutes, and fair enough if there's a decision goes against you, and we all do it. But even when Miku came on, I mean, boys were like, a useless C. You know what I mean? The guy hadn't even been on the. I mean, he was literally walking on the pitch. And so when he scored, and I turned out to the boy and says to my. He says, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I says, it wasn't that long ago you were telling him it was pish when he was coming on, was it? And he didn't actually say pish when the boy was coming on.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's not so good. Scott, what about the atmosphere in general? Loads of singing coming across well on the television coverage, etc.
Thought it was quite a good atmosphere.
Aye, quite impressed with it.
That's better than the last couple of times I've been there.
Yeah.
I did think it was quite good. Usually you get that, but kind of big grounds. And they're packed in, especially that stand that's kind of known for being a bit more
nice and tight and
bit more a roar for that stand there is over that one in the corner above the tunnel.
Right.
And I thought the atmosphere in general was quite good.
Aye.
But when we were at 0-0, and I meant the first half at 0-0 it was good, but at 0-0 in the second half it kind of died down. Everybody was waiting for that first goal, and then as soon as we scored, it came again.
It just shows you different perspectives, because I thought the opposite.
I thought the first
was
in the same bit.
I went into
Shed
behind the goals.
Must have been about 100 yards away.
Oh, right, okay.
I thought the first half, I mean, to me, the atmosphere's made up by both sets of fans.
Sure.
And I thought the first half, the Dundee United fans were absolutely silent.
Really?
Celtic were just so far on top that Dundee United couldn't get out their own half, and that was obviously having an impact on them. And then in the start of the second half, they started coming into the game. There were a couple of good chances. Their fans were up for it. Celtic fans kind of responded, and then there was a wee while there where they were. I thought, I said to you, Stephen, I thought a goal was looking as if it was coming for them.
Right.
And then we got the goal, and the atmosphere was brilliant. And I thought the second half was the atmosphere was far better with regards to the entire game than the first half. I felt we were just on top in the first half, and I thought Dundee United fans were totally silent.
Aye. What about the starting lineup, Stephen? It's easy with hindsight. Obviously, there's loads of guys talking, what a lineup, what you doing, and why you resting so and so, and why you playing that formation, etc. Can you think back to when you seen the starting lineup at that point and how you felt about it? Were you surprised in any way?
Not particularly surprised. I kind of thought there would be some changes, and anyone who was in any way a doubt wouldn't have been playing at all.
Right, just no risk.
It was always going to be a really difficult game anyway, because it always is up there.
Yep.
But no real surprises for me. It was nice to see, although he didn't last long, it was nice to see Ronya getting a run out.
Aye, so I've scribbled that down. The only third league start and off injured 20 minutes. Mr. Glass, knees, legs, I don't know what you would say about the boy.
Aye, no, he's not at the best of fortune,
no.
Certainly. But no, I thought we lined up quite strongly. Defence was reasonably strong. Middle of the park looked strong, and it was great to see. Tony Watt starting the game. To be honest with you,
right. So you're happy seeing that in the squad?
Yeah. Thought he would have started last week, and he didn't. But I thought he had a great game, and I thought he was fantastic in the second half. I thought he really did have a very, very strong performance.
And he was one of the guys who was very hard on himself. made the goal, scored his own goal, etc. But he says, "Nah, I've not done enough to face Barcelona now." So quite good for that aspect, keep his feet in the ground, etc. Always wanting more.
I think he could have scored 6 goals
Really?
yesterday, and he wouldn't have started against Barcelona. I think he has probably been. If he's comparing his performance to whether or not he's going to get in the team on Wednesday night, he shouldn't really be analysing it that way. I don't think. I think he had a fantastic performance and showed a lot of energy, a lot of directness. He's such a strong boy as well, isn't he? He's
incredible player.
Powerful, aye.
Scott, one of the most exciting young players.
Oh, definitely.
Celtic's history for a wee while.
Aye, probably.
So highly spoke of.
I said to John in the car, I hate to say it, but I might get shot down for this. He reminds me of Kenny Miller.
He reminds you of Kenny
The
Miller.
way he is
Did you
always
see that, Kev? You alright? You alright?
Red, white,
The
and
way-
blue hat.
Red, and now he's
Let me back
finishing
myself
Kenny
up here.
Miller.
Let
Can
me
all
just say,
kick off in TikTok.
he's out in the left wing one moment, he's out in the right wing, he takes players on, he's fast and
Look at his face.
And the best you could come up
And
with
was
to
Kenny
describe
Miller.
that type of player is fucking Kenny Miller.
Now, what's your language
knew-
with the youngsters, Prince?
I did say fucking.
I knew
Just in case you kick off with
I knew I'd
emotion.
be shot down for it, but I had to get it out there. That's what I thought.
Okay, right, that's interesting.
Because when he was 1-on-1 with the goal, when he's 1-on-1 with the defender,
Right.
you just think, like, you automatically think he's got to score. When the goalie scored, when he became 1-on-1 with that defender, I thought there was no way he was.
You just seen the
I
end
just
result.
believed in him all the way,
Right.
and
okay.
I kind of.
I have to say your analogy was kind of working for me until you said when he's 1-on-1 with the goalie you expected
No,
him to score.
the defender. When he,
I never ever expected that of Kenny Miller.
oh, right.
That's when it falls apart. If there wasn't a goalkeeper. No, that's cool. Good man. Real opinion for real fans, as we say. Andy boy, what about the other goal? Miku. How did you like that? Surrounded by 3 guys in the box, obviously. Nice wee flick on that he collects. Did you like the way he finished it?
I did. He took his goal really well, I think. I think, well, we've not seen him very much so far, and as Kevin was saying, do you know what I mean? Some people are getting him penalties already.
Unbelievable.
But I think what he showed so far, I think he's got a quality touch. I think his touch is fantastic. And especially when he played in La Liga with Getafe, and he scored, I don't know exactly, but he scored a fair amount of goals with them, do you know what I mean? He was one of their top strikers. I think he's quite a good player. But as we're talking about Tony Watt, I think, like, because we've not seen much in this season, but Tony Stokes and and Gary Hooper, for me, just it doesn't do enough. You know what I mean? He scores the goals, but I don't think he gives enough movement in that up front, and he looks sometimes he looks out of the game and kind of lazy.
I think we're getting more effort from young Watt
Who
then.
does?
Gary Hooper,
Hooper
sometimes.
himself.
And I think Tony Watt I think Tony Watt gives us that wee edge over some teams with his pace, strength. Do you know what I mean? That wee bit of flair
Okay.
he brings to the team.
And you can put the thing is with Gary Hooper, not so much you can put the ball, play through the defence or play up kind of over the top. Tony Watt's got the pace, and he makes he might get caught offside a couple of times, but he makes those runs.
Don't get me wrong, Gary
It's going
Hooper's
to
a
come off.
fantastic
No, I think
player.
that's real
Shows-
interesting because I think there is a bit of an issue there. I think Hooper now is looking at the Champions League games, and when you look at Hooper's performances in the Champions League games and the amount of effort he puts in, it's dramatically higher than any domestic games I've seen from him this season.
Right.
Far and away.
So actually saving himself.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think Tony Watts, by his own admissions, isn't he going to be playing in the Champions League games?
Right.
And he's showing that same type of effort in the domestic games to be able to stake a regular claim for a starting berth in kind of Premier League games. And I do notice a difference in Hooper in the Champions League versus domestic. And I'm noticing Tony Watt. I would absolutely agree that Tony Watt is given more in domestic games than Hooper seems to be.
And it's
given.
not just the opposition, it's not the competition they're up against. You're seeing it in the player himself, the way he moves, the way he's getting the off the ball movement, etc.
No, I think it just comes down to mere amount of effort and kind of prepared to chase things down.
Aye.
Tony Watt will chase everything down all day long. You know, he's just a young player who's just desperate to be involved and will do anything, chases lost causes which are kind of 90-10 against them, and some things are just might happen as a consequence of that.
That's right.
Whereas Hooper, I think, if it's a 60-40 against them and it's a domestic game, I don't see him putting in the same degree of effort as Tony Watt. But I do see it when he comes up against the Champions League
These
teams,
guys, okay.
as if this is the level that I want to be playing at, and I know what's expected of me.
Right.
Whereas in the Premier Division matches,
That's his training matches.
Like you'll see, like this.
and to be honest, I think coming back to that, there's been a lot of games this season that I've kind of felt as if there've been an extended training match.
Yep.
Where they've been passing and going through the motions, almost just set nature, passing across the pitch, up and down, just keeping a hold of the ball without any great urgency to get forward, and that's probably the best word I can use to describe it, as a lack of urgency. Because when they went a goal down, and they've actually stepped up, when they went a goal down a couple of weeks ago to Kilmarnock, before that it was just pass, not really doing much, go a goal down, right, okay, let's get
we need to do something
we
now.
need to lift it here.
Right,
Went a second
gotcha.
goal down for the last 20 minutes, just kind of pummeled Kilmarnock.
Stephen, what were you going to say there?
No, I was just going to say, agree, and I think I think there's actually several players fall into that category. I don't think it's just Hooper, and I think it's a bit of a problem that we've got in terms of mentality of the players as they're going on the parks in these games.
Right.
The Kilmarnock game was a prime example of that, and it is. I mean, I know myself how I was reacting to that game, watching the game. You know, if that had been last season and we went a goal down to Kilmarnock, I would be sitting there and my scarf would have been demolished. Aye, and I would have been on to my second and my third
Stephen, the
scarf.
scarf eater.
There's not an edge.
But
That edge is gone.
Exactly.
Right.
So the edge is gone for me as a supporter,
Right.
and I think the edge is gone for the players.
On field as well.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
yeah.
Scott, did you want to jump in with something?
I think it's the kind of thing, they're not performance. When they go a goal down, say 2 years ago, we'd know that Rangers had have won that day, or they'd have,
kind of looking over
or
our
they-
shoulder type thing.
and now they think if they lose a game, or we'll just go and win the next one, or
You think so?
we're going to win the league anyway, that kind of mentality. And I don't really like that,
No.
because you want to see us win every game, of course, being a fan, but they've not, exactly what Kevin says, they've not got the urgency going to go down against Kilmarnock. That was the kind of perfect.
Is that why we lost the points then? The 2 goals that United came back with, is it too late for us? You know, when you were talking about, we won down to Kilmarnock, so we got our act together, but was it because it was right at the death, it was too late for us, the killer blow?
No, I think Celtic controlled that game from first 45 minutes, absolutely end to end, from start to finish is what I mean. They controlled that game.
Right.
Start of the second half, Dundee United came more into it. They were putting some good balls in the box, weathered that, got the goals, and should have seen it out. I said to Stephen at the time that I feel, unfortunately, that the introduction of Paddy McCourt kind of changed the
Right.
rhythm for Celtic.
Aye, this was
It
spoke about quite a
changed.
lot.
We kind of lost the goal kind of indirectly. Lost the dallied in the ball in the centre of the pitch. They went up the pitch. We didn't score directly from that kind of first phase, but I think it was probably second phase or third phase. But they were still in our half because he had dallied in the ball, and I just felt that it changed the kind of tempo of the match, where we were cruising going forward to then, okay, we're just going to hold the ball and dilly-dally and look for the
move it
opens,
about.
and to be honest, it worked against us.
Right.
And I think Paddy is a player that needs to be playing now. And to be honest, I can't blame him, because the boys behind us also gave him dogs abuse when he came on.
Despite the fact that we're singing "Don't Sell McCourt," like 20
Aye,
minutes
everybody
before
sings along with that.
So,
With a closed transfer window as well, which is another thing.
So, I mean, and you can't blame Paddy McCourt. I mean, if I was lucky enough to be there, I would be happy to be in a Celtic squad,
Exactly.
just to be at the club I love. And Paddy McCourt loves Celtic in the same way as any other around this table.
Yep.
Loves Celtic.
Yep.
And people forget that. So when they're at the games watching and their love of Celtic is there in their heart. That's what he's got.
Aye.
He's just lucky enough to actually be there and be in the squad, and you get no ambition or this or that. I mean, to be honest, I would have no ambition
Because that's the pinnacle for us.
to an extent, I suppose. I think he's a kind of player now that needs to be playing games.
Yes.
And I think if he played in any other team in the Premier League, he'd be a standout because he would be playing weekend. I mean, that Dundee United team in the centre of the pitch,
Aye.
if he was playing, because his fitness levels would be far better.
Exactly,
Looks as
his
if he's-
actual match fitness would be
but
razor
come
sharp.
on, and it didn't. It just didn't look. He's not even as Joseph said in the way home. He's not even an impact player now.
Right, that's gone
and-
as well.
And that's disappointing. And probably for his own sake, he should move on. But I mean, who can blame him for staying at the club he loves?
Aye.
And just want to be about the place. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely, we can certainly align ourselves to it.
I think one of the... I completely agree with what Kevin said there, and my disappointment was that, to be totally honest with you, I didn't think we needed to even make the sub. I didn't
Right.
think we even needed to make the change, and I think if he was going to make the change, he should have put Kyle on and just
There was a lot
gone
of talk about that.
and
aye.
just gone, okay, it's 2-0 up, there's 8 minutes to go, I'm just going to take what I've got. And I think in hindsight, Neil will be looking at that substitution and thinking that he maybe didn't quite get it right.
I agree with you. I agree with you to the extent that, with hindsight, at 2-0 up, is there MD in the stadium and beyond watching the TV who would have thought Dundee United could have scored 2 goals in the last 8 minutes? Had it been 1-0, I've got no doubts he would have shored it up and put Kyle on rather than bringing Paddy McCourt on. But I think he thought, we're 2 up, there's less than 10 minutes to go. And it's only with hindsight you could actually say that he made a mistake. I mean, there's no one in the stadium at that point would have... I think he was right to make the change, because I'd rather have Commons off for the last 10 minutes,
Right, get him
leading
protected.
2-0 with a big game on Wednesday night.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean, it's a massive game on Wednesday night, far bigger than, to be honest, losing 2 goals and drawing at Tannadice will turn out to be at the end of the season. So I disagree with you. I think he was right to make the change, and yeah, he should have made Kyle on. Had it been 1-0, I've got no doubts that's what
Then
the
it
change
would
would
have
have
been
been.
that way.
But I think it was because they were, to be honest, cruising.
Where we were.
I don't think any of us would have ever stayed. Well,
There's no kind of fear factor there.
even if they get a goal, you can see them getting another. You couldn't even see them getting one.
That's what we
Even I went home and watched a kind of couple of bits, watched the goals on the iPlus, and even the commentator when they scored their first goal. I don't know his exact words. He said something that was kind of, and Dundee United have grabbed the goal, but and he said sorry when Celtic went 2-0 up, and that's surely 3 points for Celtic. You know,
Aye,
even
done and
obviously
dusted.
he thought it was done and dusted, like you said, but
Aye.
I think I would have done what Neil Lennon would have done at 2-0 up. He thought, what was it, 8 or 10 minutes to go or whatever.
Just finish this out. Give us young boy a
I'd
couple of
have
minutes.
put Paddy McCourt on, I think, as well, just thinking,
I give a wee run at it. And
what if he goes and grabs a goal, he's taking a claim again. So Kyle's already kind of in about the first team.
Aye, protect
At the
him,
moment,
etc. It's a hard one, aye, because you don't know how
So
things are going
you're
to go.
thinking, how many other chances are we going to be kind of 2-0 up in one of these games to give him a chance to show what he can do again?
Yep.
I think Peter, what's the manager's name? Peter
Houston.
Houston said that he absolutely had no doubts that they deserved to take 3 points, not just 1 point.
Oh,
Is
that
that
was-
true? I didn't get back to the card quickly enough to actually
it was
hear his
along those
interview.
lines, aye.
Couldn't
He's
believe it.
involved in Scotland.
He's
set
been
up,
working
you know
too
what I mean?
closely with Blooming Mr. Levine.
Mr. Levine.
Because he
God
did
rest
comment
his
when he
soul.
went back to the and Lennon's interview, Neil's interview was on, and he said like we controlled the game for so much, blah blah blah, and I didn't think we deserved to get hit with a couple of sucker punches. That's what happens. That's football. And they went back to the studio, and I think Richard Gordon was a bit picking himself off his seat. He's like, I don't think there's many of us in the studio here would necessarily agree with Peter, would we? And even Billy Dodds.
Whoa, stay.
Billy Dodds,
never agreed
EBT,
with him.
said no. I think Peter was maybe a wee bit.
Tangerine
Aye,
tinted
aye.
glasses there. Right, last subject, Andy boy, the referee. How do we feel about him? 2 of our internet Bampot friends Shevchenko, first of all, was calling him Willie Gollum, obviously all the way through. And then our good friend, the Human Torpedo, he said, I once tried to reserve a table at Willie Collum's restaurant, but they only took bookings from Celtic players. Which was quite great. How do you think his performance was?
Here we go again. You can't blame the referee, but
Brilliant.
don't even start me. Don't even start me.
You're raging.
I was a wee bit raging, but you know what I mean. You can't blame it on the referee, but
No, you can't blame any of the goals on the referee. However, the referee's a cretin.
There you go.
He's an absolute cretin, a wee guy. And to think that the SFA are fast tracking him to be kind of to be regarded as Scotland's top official and being pushed forward to be one of Europe's top officials is absolutely incredible.
Dallas number 2.
I'm going to start going on a rant here.
I know.
Because
Watch your blood pressure.
I cannot believe that wee man, when he actually referees somebody like Barcelona in the Champions League or a Europa League tie or Europa Cup tie, I mean, he's absolutely incompetent. Mm-hmm. There was one just in the second half, a young Matthews get played in right in front of us. Young Matthews get played in. The Dundee United player just looks straight at him, and just the ball's there, and he runs at Matthews in the opposite direction to the ball. Matthews sees it coming, drops his shoulder in the same way as the Dundee United player did. Dundee United player goes down, and he awards a free kick inside the box to Dundee United. He's obviously never ever played football because it gives things which are absolutely inexplicable. Mm-hmm. And there should be a rule where unless you actually understand anything about the fundamentals of football, you shouldn't be a referee.
You just shouldn't be.
Honestly, I tell you, I can't imagine. So he was my nephew's RE teacher for a couple of years when he was obviously down the road. And I'm there to make sure I don't put myself in line for being arrested under this Offensive Communications Act or something like that. But had he been
please unmask
had he been my RE teacher, I think I would probably get suspended for telling him how incompetent he was.
But every teacher suspended you, you know. I mean, there's no difference here.
That's rather unfair.
How many yellow cards did we get? Was it? We had 5. We had it 5 at one point, definitely.
Madness, wasn't it?
We definitely had 5.
This one? No, I just give you the
and it was
substitutions there.
2 goal scorers for
11 fouls, but it doesn't actually tell you the cards.
No.
2 goal scorers for getting into the crowd, but the crowd are about 4 feet away for the kind of.
I know.
Right, so that's a bee in my bonnet as well.
Tony, what are you doing here? You're setting him off again.
Tony Watt was barely in the crowd. A guy
Scott, hold on a second. You can understand Miku jumping into the crowd, but his first goal, boys are giving him aggro when he comes on the pitch. His first goal, and he's excited, and he fires in there. Tony Watt, 5 minutes later, after having seen that, scores a goal. His momentum didn't even carry him in, and he jumps into the crowd. That was absolute stupidity. All he had to do was stand in the touchline and do that.
You're right, but it was one of the ones. The fans are that. It's the fans are that close.
It's as
if they're grabbing
Kevin,
him.
are you saying if you were at Tannadice and you scored a goal, you wouldn't jump into the crowd?
No. You don't want to know
That's
how you would celebrate a goal, by the way.
I wouldn't jump into the Celtic crowd. I wouldn't the other side jump into their crowd.
That's a box you don't want to open. Oh, God.
You could even have made that better and says Ibrox. Then we could have really got it somewhere.
Right, we're going to wind that up right there and we'll move on to Barca.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, 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 tock.
Right, Viva la Barcelona coming to town on Wednesday. Stephen the Scarf Muncher. How are we feeling about this one?
He's bought 2 boxes of scarves.
You've got a 125th anniversary one.
I've got a half and half scarf, so I can start at one end and start at the other end and just work my way through it.
No, you were excited about the first one, the first game. Had a crank performance, of course, gutted by the end result and stuff. So, how does that set us up? Has our performance got you excited, or have we now rattled Barca's cage that they are not coming with their eyes shut for us by any manner of means?
Well, there is that to worry about, obviously. but it's just the spectacle. It's just the fact that we're going to be playing Barcelona at Celtic Park with the guys that you watch on a Saturday night on Sky Sports, to be perfectly honest.
Cancellation Sunday, son.
He's no subscribed to
Shocking.
Cancellation Sunday. Well, you've just been outed live on TikTok. You never cancelled your Sky Sports.
Sky Sports.
I'm actually using Kevin's internet login.
I've got a wee admission live on air.
Oh, you never thought you started Cancellation
I
Sunday.
didn't realise the Ryder Cup was on Sky.
You never
So
sold your soul
I'm
for
not
the
actually.
golf.
I'm not back in for the football. I was only in for the Ryder Cup.
You should have get yourself into one of those kind of partly illegal streams.
Well, I tried to do that. I tried to do that for Andy Murray's US Open victory.
One of these
and I was
Iraqi goals.
listening to the
You've
Radio
heard about,
Scotland.
Would you not take part in?
There are other streams
I
available.
was listening to Andy Murray's US Open in Radio Scotland while watching a dodgy feed that you couldn't even see, and they were like a minute and a half apart. So I couldn't have done that with the golf. But I only did it for a month.
Right, okay.
In and out.
Okay.
Quick as a shot.
In and out. So, hopes overall. It's a spectacle. You just bring it on. Looking forward to it.
Kind of a for me, aye. I'm not going along with any particular expectations.
Right.
I definitely think we'll more than match them. I think we'll give them more than a game. Can't wait for the atmosphere. I think it's going to be out of this world. I think it's going to be electric.
Yes.
It's
as if every second tweet on your timeline is asking for a ticket.
Aye,
It's just bizarre.
It really is.
I know this is a joke, but has anybody got...
Or the Green Brigade statement with the about the display that's
About the
happening.
flags,
Aye,
yep,
aye.
good man, we'll bring that up.
That's right.
I've got that down in the kind of hot topics thing, but yes, that's right. If anybody's not seen this, we kind of copied onto our Carluke Shamrock Facebook page as well. But what's the deal, Scott? What have they asked fans not to do?
Raise the cards during, not to raise the cards during You'll Never Walk Alone, and
That's
wait for a kind of signal.
Wait for the signal.
Aye,
And
it's
apparently
the
Andy's
teams
going
are
to put
coming
on
out
his
the tunnel.
bobble hat.
So basically,
And
raise
that's
your,
That's the
cue.
signal.
So
Everybody
basically-
around the stadium.
So the full stadium is to look for the
raise your
bobble hat.
scarves for You'll Never Walk Alone and know your cards.
That's right, and keep it displayed. Scott, that should be something else. 'Cause,
that should, aye.
I mean, talk about tweets and stuff. There was loads earlier on saying they were looking for a hand today, but then by the afternoon they were saying, "Oh, it's us. We're done and dusted." So they're obviously ready.
Yeah.
You know. Andy, who are you looking to play up front? I spoke earlier about Tony Watts and Gary Hoopers and this, that, and the other. Who are you thinking it's going to be in the lineup?
Well, I don't think Tony Watt will feature. I don't, but
Is he on the bench?
I think he's on the bench,
Okay.
and depending on what's happening during the game, if Gary Hooper isn't, well, I think Gary Hooper will start.
Aye.
If he isn't doing it, or whatever, up front, I'm sure he'll give his all. Do you know what I mean? With
Aye.
what he's displayed so far
Uh-huh.
in the Champions League, you can't fault his performances. But I think Tony Watts, if we need that wee spark, I think he could. I don't know if it would maybe be too much for him putting him at the deep end, but for what he showed in his domestic season, I think he looks capable enough to go in and do a job to the best of his ability. And
If that moment comes for him.
if it's
Okay, Scott, overall,
I
what's
think-
your kind of thoughts at this point? We're here on a Monday night, obviously, and it's going to build up as it goes, but...
I'm like the kind of, I think tomorrow's going to be like the kind of Christmas Eve feel about it for me. I'm not going to be able to sleep and all the rest of it.
You never sleep
I
anyway.
think-
You're always tweeting pictures
no,
of
I'm
you
in-
lying with a bottle of Fanta.
I'm in a good...
it's stupid cloaking him on.
I'm in a good routine now, I'll have you know, but I think if they throw Tony Watt and if it's say it's 0-0 with however long to go, I think he's one of these players that might revel in the atmosphere in the big game.
Right,
I think
okay.
I think he's shy at all
No.
on the
Right.
park. So I think if it's 0-0, say with in the second half with no long to go, I think we might even go for it.
With 50 minutes
Because
to
we've
go
got
or
nothing to
something.
lose because no one's expecting us to win. So I think
Right, so even
cause
at
just
home,
imagine if we pulled
for
it off.
yourself.
Just imagine.
no one outside the Macaulay household.
Exactly.
I expected a draw in Barca.
Oh, see, and you nearly got it.
Can I go back to your question?
I
there?
thought you were
Right.
taking a backtrack. No, you
I
can
got
go
mixed
back
up my
here.
words there. Can I-
Absolutely.
when you asked me who do you think will feature up front,
Yes.
I think Sammy's a must-have.
Right.
I don't know
Is
where
he
it
fit?
is.
Is he going to
Well,
be?
he's one of these question marks, isn't he? So he was obviously kind of not risked at
Yeah.
all at Tannadice. So you're expecting him to be there from the start? You think that layoff's been enough for him?
I hope so.
Big
Because
player.
he's in the Champions League. He's one of the influential players.
Yes.
I think. The performance he displayed the time he had on the pitch against Barcelona, I thought it was outstanding. And the Barcelona away game, I think, a couple of times when Forrest come on, when he was running at the defenders, I can't remember. I think it was Jordi Alba. He just didn't have it to get past them,
Right.
get round the defender, and maybe put a ball into Gary Hooper or whatever. And when I think if Samaras was there, I think a couple of them were at him in his prime. He could have just knocked the ball past him and ran. Do you know what I mean? And you don't know what could have came of that.
He's going for it.
But I think Samaras is, if he's fit, and that could be because he never played at Tannadice. On the other hand, you'd maybe think, if you're going to start him, put him on the bench, give him a wee run out. But I think if he's fit, he's a must-have. He's a must-have in the team.
And Kevin, the must-have, the kind of key to a lot of European success, Sammy's been spoke of. Let me paint a black picture then. What if he isn't fit? Can we cope at all? Is Samaras now so important in the Champions League games that you're kind of fighting right against it? Is he that important for us now on that European stage?
I don't think so at home.
No?
I
A
think
different ball game at home?
Maybe so away from home.
Right, that kind of outlet.
But I think at home there's potentially coverage for him, and home games are always tend to be a wee bit more straightforward with your own crowd behind you and stuff. But it's going to be interesting. We spoke at length before the game in the Nou Camp, and I think a couple of us around the table called it correctly about Mulgrew and probably him playing left midfield.
That's
and,
right.
And them really going solid. But with Trezeguet getting taken off yesterday with what on the face of it looked to be a hamstring injury,
Yes.
that's
worrying.
probably a wee bit of a concern I've got. And to be honest, when you look at that, you look at Trezeguet, you look at Sammy, and start piecing the team together without knowing what their fitness is like. It's hard to actually, because you would imagine if Trezeguet is no playing, he's going to revert back to Mulgrew playing left back. But I certainly had concerns about Mulgrew playing in the Nou Camp because of his lack of pace.
Aye.
And his, I think he doesn't turn very well. Certainly doesn't turn quickly. And I'm just wondering what he would then do to try and compensate that, because I don't think I can't think of any other options other than perhaps putting.
Do we think Ronya's out after
Yeah.
what happened at Tannadice? Aye, so we
Yeah.
discount him. So
Matthew.
possibly is he as well.
Matthews is the only thing I could think he would do, and to be honest, I really don't like that. And he's done that in the past.
Aye.
Yeah. So I think he probably would put Mulgrew. So it's obviously Wilson and Big Ambrose at the centre back.
Yep.
I've got a feeling he'll play Lustig at right back.
I'd rather that.
And
Would
then,
you?
think so. And then we'll, if needs be, if Trezeguet's no fit, then it's Mulgrew. And I reckon the midfield then takes care of itself in respect that he'll be of Brown the right, Wanyama and Ledley, I would expect, in the middle,
Okay.
and Commons in the left.
Right.
Although maybe Commons in the right actually, and Ledley in the left, and then moving Brown into the centre of the park would be a wee bit more straightforward, and then Sammy and Hooper, with Sammy having that kind of
Front.
roving. If Sammy doesn't play, I think probably Commons would play off of Hooper, and he would definitely put Ledley at the left and bring Kyle in.
Kyle, of course, aye, that's right. Which was the
That's all
kind of
depends.
suggested sub instead of McCourt at the weekend.
I think what Kevin says right. The Kyle getting a game all depends on if Samaras plays.
Right.
Exactly what
right.
Kevin said. If Samaras
So if
plays,
Sammy's in,
if Samaras plays, it looks a bit like Wanyama, Ledley, Brown, Commons in
Right.
midfield. If Samaras doesn't play, Commons will have Samaras's role behind
take
Hooper,
his, right.
and Ledley on the left, Brown on the right, you would feel, and Wanyama and Kaya on the centre. If that. So that's the kind of. I think that's the only two options.
Right,
I'm kind of
okay.
thinking
Going
about the
between
now. I
those
just think
two.
there's.
And it all revolves around Sammy playing or not really. Aye. See any other options there, Stephen?
No, I've got
No.
similar things scribbled down here. I think there's Sammy I think Commons for me, although I really like him, but Commons for me only plays if Samaras doesn't. And the team that I've got scribbled down here,
right, okay.
if Eze makes it, which I guess is kind of doubtful, but if he makes it, then I would probably go with my midfield of Mulgrew, Brown, Ledley and Wanyama.
Okay.
If Eze makes it, I have to say I'm a wee bit worried about the right back spot. Not necessarily for the game coming up on Wednesday, but
just in general.
Aye, and I tell you why. I think Adam Matthews is an absolutely fantastic player, and I think it strikes me that he's kind of lost a little bit of confidence because he's not cemented that spot down. The only problem I've got with Matthews is his kind of lack of height, and it's been a problem that we've had at right full back. I mean, Jackie McNamara was a similar type of build and similar type of player to Matthews.
It was all about the skill.
Yeah, I think Matthews is absolutely fantastic, and wasn't a particular fan of Lusdige until I think he's come on in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, Moscow, he was great.
Yeah, he was.
He was the kind of man of the match in Moscow.
Yeah,
He got into the Champions League Team of the Week. That.
Oh, that's right.
Is that right, did he?
Yeah.
And he's got loads and loads of experience, obviously. So there's a wee kind of question mark over how that's potentially affecting Matthews.
Right.
But I think he'll play on Wednesday night with Ambrose and Wilson, and I think a lot of the dynamics of the team are going to depend on whether Izaguirre makes it and whether Sammy makes it.
Right. Those are the two.
I'm surprised at that. So Matthews, yeah, and I think probably playing against a Barcelona team is a game where probably the lack of height might not be penalised to the maximum anyway.
Sure.
But I'm surprised you've not got Commons in, because I think I don't think we'll have a lot of the ball.
Right.
I think probably we're still going to be percentages mainly going to be down to Barcelona, and I think the goal threat Commons has from 20 yards means to me he's got to be in there.
I think he'll be in there if Izaguirre isn't playing. Because if Izaguirre isn't playing, I think he'll play Mulgrew at full back, and then I think that fills that's a slot for Commons.
So if Izaguirre does play and he plays Mulgrew in midfield, do you not think that Commons would go over to the right, and then it would be Wanyama, Brown and Ledley in the centre? You don't think he would find a place for him on the right hand side of the pitch?
Aye, but you've then got potentially Sammy and Hooper, so you're then over your numbers.
There's only so many spaces.
I don't think Izaguirre's going to make it. With Kevin saying he thinks it's going to hamstring, I don't think you'd risk it, because you don't want to be making your first sub of the game after 20 minutes because Izaguirre's pulled up.
You're forced into it.
And another thing, you don't want him kind of giving 80-90%. You want him 100%. You don't want him kind of limping around. No, I'd rather just kind of take the risk. Mulgrew isn't the kind of best one-on-one in defence, but I'd kind of put him in there. And I think Lennon has to kind of find a space for Commons. I think he has to play.
Just because of the
just
season
like
he's
Kevin
having.
says, the kind of goal threat and free kicks in and around the box, just if anything falls to him. He's going to have I think he's got to have a better striker than, say, Scott Brown.
I totally agree with Scott when he's saying about Izaguirre. Like, if he's not at full fitness, do you know what I mean? You don't want... Do you know, because I'm guessing Barcelona will have the majority of the ball. You don't want a 50-50 with him and Messi. Do you know what I mean? A player like that, you don't want a 50-50. Do you know, one-on-one goal and him going in half-heartedly. Do you know what I mean? You want him playing 100%, full speed, going at it. So I don't think if there's any risk involved, I don't think he's a Gary feature.
So now that I've got my arithmetic right, if Izaguirre does play, and I agree with Mulgrew would push forward, because we called it out the last time that set pieces were going to be a critical element, and obviously that's where we got a goal.
Exactly.
I think in that instance, I just can't see Commons not playing, and I've got to look at it now and say Leslie would drop out of that team.
Drop him, right?
So the midfield would then be
Charlie on the left, Commons on the right, and Brown Wanyama. And to be honest, Charlie, I think, would move more infield and allow Sammy to patrol that wide left place and break quickly.
You think that leaves us strong enough in the middle of the park?
I think
McGrew, Commons, with kind of two
with
diggers.
With Brown, Wanyama and Sammy. Aye, so it's a home game at Celtic Park against a team who are football players.
Aye.
I mean, I don't want to go up against a cultured football team like Barcelona with a team who are just there to
Try and nullify them.
be committed. Is a euphemistic way of saying it.
You think
I want us to go with the players that I think not only can compete but have got good footballing ability, and if that means going Commons and Sammy there, then I'm well up for that.
Cool. Stephen, nice easy question. What's the score going to be?
I think we could get a 2 each.
Andy boy?
I totally agree. I can see us pulling off with the home support. Because with a fantastic performance away from home, if we replicate that at home with the home support, that might just be the cutting edge. It might get us a wee draw. And with the team we've named, players like that, we've definitely, from set pieces or whatever, we've definitely got chances for goals. We might not create many chances, but when you've got players like Charlie and Group putting the ball in the box, do you know what I mean?
Something might come off, and there's definitely chances for goals there.
I really want to see their team lineup, because if they've got Mascherano playing at centre half, I just can't wait for these kind of set pieces.
He's travelled, hasn't he? That's right. Yep.
I think Fraser Foster's going to have to have another good game.
Another big match for him.
He was brilliant in the Nou Camp, but he'll need to have another kind of good game.
Aye.
And
so after a disappointing 2-2, would you be happy to have a 2-2 on Wednesday?
I was going to say 1 each. I think we'll take the lead.
Oh, right, okay. God,
I hate to say it, but I think they might. I hate to say it. If we go 1-0 up, I hate to say it, but I think they might maybe just pull the one back and it'll finish 1 each. I think they might score one each.
I'm more nervous about this game on Wednesday night than I was at the game in the Nou Camp, to be honest.
Were you?
And I sat and I really did fancy us to get a draw in the Nou Camp. I don't know why. But
was it a surprise element? Is that gone now?
No. I just felt something that we were going to go there and we would acquit ourselves far better than everyone was suggesting we would. But I'm actually more concerned about this game, and I mean, some people said afterwards that maybe the fact that we're expected to go a wee bit more attacking, we expect more of the possession, we expect the crowd to be there getting behind us.
Yep.
I would say one thing: if we do go ahead, I could see us going on to record that. I mean, depending when we score, of course, but a famous victory.
Get excited.
I look at it and I think I expect to get more corners. I expect to get more set pieces to be able to work something out. I don't think we get any corners in the Nou Camp, or if we did, we get
few and far between.
Aye. And
we did get one because we should have scored from it.
Aye, so 10 minutes into the second half. That's right. And I do expect to get more corners, 4, 5, 6 corners in the match that I think we need to make sure we try and create chances from.
Grab those moments.
So, score. I would take a draw right now.
Right.
To be perfectly honest, I'm concerned we're not going to win.
Okay.
I would.
That's all draws. That's not bad. All scoring draws as well. Okay.
So people will be listening. Have a bit of confidence. Blah blah.
It's Barcelona, man.
No. But see, to be honest, if it was any other team in the world again, other than Barcelona, I would be saying we're going to win.
Oh, aye.
Because they're the only team, in 22 Champions League home matches at Celtic Park that have managed to beat us.
Yep.
And
they're excited about it as well. Loads of stuff from their official site about it. Made up videos of the last games and all sorts of stuff.
I think if we do get a score draw, I'd love more to come back and get it, that would just feel
Oh
like a win.
my
If we go a goal down,
Right.
score a equaliser in the last 20-30 minutes, that would feel like
that's-
a win. That's more than a...
But that's hindsight, Scott. I would
Aye.
rather we scored the first goal, because I think if we scored the first goal and we've got something to hang on to,
Push
and the
that.
momentum, the noise that would be generated for the fans,
God.
I think would be phenomenal. So I would actually say the opposite. I think if we get the first goal, then
You've got more optimism.
yeah.
Right.
I see where you're coming
Do
from.
you know what I mean?
with
If
that.
you
can
look
see
back
the
after the
ways
game and think,
Aye.
if you scored a last minute equaliser, yeah, you
That's
feel good.
right.
But to be honest, if you could be 1-1 and have something to hang on to, it would be great. Looking at the league table, we really need to get something for this match. I think it's critical we get something from this match, because I fancy Benfica are going to beat Moscow.
Think so.
And if we don't take anything from this match, then the next game we go to, that would give Benfica 4 points if my calculations are right. Which means any victory by Benfica over Celtic would mean that they would be primed to finish second, because their head-to-head would be better against us.
That's right.
If we can get a single point, then we go to Benfica knowing that a draw would be enough for us. Assuming we then beat Moscow at Celtic Park.
We assumption there.
I
know what you mean.
We should be confident in the grander scheme of things of doing that, but just show you how things could change quickly.
Aye, definitely.
I guess
the group's full.
I guess the ideal score for us in that other game would probably be a draw.
Yes,
which puts Benfica kind of only in 2 points, Moscow in 4, but Moscow come to Celtic Park in the last game of the.
And they still need to...
And they've played Barca. They've still to play Barca.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So you need to watch your phones during the game for the other match, and
No.
you need to watch for
No.
Andy's Bobble hat for the Green Brigade display. Right? If I go with that.
So I'll take Celtic to win 3-1.
Sod the draw. Brilliant.
Celtic reason goes out the window. That was my reason debate, and now I want him
Now,
out.
back to that.
I
really hope you go to the bookies and do that, just in case. If that
Just in case.
happens and you've not got a...
Well, I did
I'm
have
going to
money.
be sleep for the next 2 days now. I'm all excited about
I
this.
did have money on them Celtic half time and I draw full time at the Nou Camp, and it was
Did you?
40-1. And then obviously we lost the goal, and I also had a draw on over the full 90 minutes.
Right.
And then we lost the goal just before half time. And I thought, when we got to the last couple, when we were in injury time, I thought, my second bet's going to come up.
covered.
And then that as well.
Yeah, baskets.
Laptop out the window.
I was kind of gutted as well. I had a kind of double blow. I had one each
Right.
in the Nou Camp, and I didn't. My dad did. So don't encourage underage gambling in this show.
Magic.
This is the first game though that I can remember probably ever going along to Celtic Park and hoping that they're just star-studded. I just hope every single one of their star players plays.
Just want to see them.
I just want to
Bring it.
That's what I was thinking about. I've got the kind of thought, I want to go in here, I want to see them warm up, see how good they really are. Just get as much out of it as I can. I want to...
Brilliant.
See your Palm.
Soak up the atmosphere.
The last one that we played them in the Champions League, when we beat 3-2, we were in the front stand and we were right next to the Barca fans.
Oh, right.
And we bought swamp scarves and stuff, and that was I
Nice
mentioned
one.
one previous podcast, it was Declan's first European match.
That's right.
And the players were, it was front stand, so it was that kind of traditional zombie end. And they were right in front of us, so they were training and coming to the touchline, and we've got some great photographs from, I don't know,
All those
10
superstars.
10 feet away from
Aye.
them. Declan just thought that was absolutely phenomenal.
Magic.
So I can't wait. Can't it
Oh,
come
the
quick enough?
excitement builds. Good stuff, lads. We'll wrap that up there.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, 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 tock.
Right, boys, let's rattle through some of the hot topics and stuff, see what you want to talk about after the games we've just discussed there. First up is some shout-outs to our American friends, the guys over there from the Beyond the Wave show, Graham Wilson and the Rev, who of course have come out of their bunkers after surviving Sandy. The young team, this isn't Jim Sanderson for the Carluke Shamrock, this was Superstorm Sandy, right? That's what hit America, so glad to know that the boys survived. Things seem to be not too bad for them. They're all back home and they're back on the air as well, so first class. Another shout out is for the Movember team. And at Hail Hail Media, if you go of course to hailhailmedia.com, the guys from the Homeboys, Chris Kujawa, Graham, who I mentioned from Beyond the Waves, whole team of the boys getting involved with Movember. Fantastic campaign that they're doing. So go in there and chuck in any pennies that you can, much appreciated. Another guy who was mentioned before Tic Talk, actually, Paul Larkin, the green and white writer, who of course has written the latest book, By Any Means Necessary. There was, the boys seen it just before we kicked off, what is it, paperback edition of the book. Paul, you'll be glad to know, Mr. C from Tic Talk purchased that, so he was in doing some readings to the guys because of course Shambolic has a nice wee mention in there, so everybody get on to that book, lulu.com, Amazon, and of course you get in touch with Paul at Paul Larkin 74 on TikTok, I was going to say, on Twitter. But TikTok, the boys are going to be heading through to the Internet Bump Up Party for the book, and that's on Saturday the 24th of November. TikTok, another one. Next Monday night is going to be another one. We've known it kind of back-to-back for a wee while, actually, but this one's one with a difference. Hosted by Vincent Mooney. There you go. After much threats for different guys to try and host the show and give me a break, Vinny has stepped into the breach, so God bless him and good luck to him. Now he'll know what it's like. So tune in next week for that one.
You wouldn't need any panel. You'll just sit and talk to yourself for an hour, 2 hours.
Oh, there you go, Vincent.
What do you think, Vincent? Aye, very good. What do you think, Vincent?
That's a great point, Vincent.
He'll be going round the 5 different seats and
changing his voice.
Great. Well seen you didn't invite him to that one. No need.
That's your first insult, Vincent. There you go. Right, over into other insults. Sevco Tax Case. So, the last time we were chatting was the kind of build-up to the kind of liquidation, court of session type thing, and of course that followed through quite nicely. We've had this lovely time frame where we had Valentine's Day being administration, we've then had Halloween being liquidation day, as we call it, and of course I think Kevin mentioned we can't wait till Santa comes. But just when we thought that was brilliant and we were lapping that up, we thought, well, that's good, we've put that to bed now, they're going down the liquidation route just as we expected. Up they step again. They're in the Times with their guys from, is it Zeus Capital and so on, with various investigations on their tax, and our good friend, our hallowed friend, the Rangers tax case, he steps up that night and not only tells us, yes, the Times have got this story, but also Chuckles Green himself is going to have a personal investigation, apparently, allegedly, and our good friend RTC has now started Sevco Tax Case on Twitter.
Oh, has he?
Oh, yes.
Honestly, my wee heart can't take any more of this.
Oh!
Can
It's magic!
I looked at it, was it Saturday night?
When did it all kick off?
It was Wednesday night, it was last Wednesday night. It was Wednesday night late on.
Yes.
When I went to
because I was raging it, I was trying to get to my bed.
Somebody actually tweeted that, I was going to go to my bed and all of a sudden, but I went to Sevco Tax Case and he didn't have any tweets.
Yes, that's right.
But had something, and you could sit and watch it and the numbers of followers were just...
Bing, 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 bing.
like bing, 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 it just kept going up and up and up and up and up. So is there actually any tweets associated with it?
Not yet. I checked this afternoon. Nothing yet. He's just lining people up because what he did, Stephen, was he came up and he said, listen, someone's beat me to getting the blogging page for it, Sevco Tax Case, blogpress, whatever it is. Somebody beat him to get that, but he grabbed the Twitter handle and he was ready because he came out fairly early that night. He says, I've got stuff about to unfold about Sevco.
Yeah, but he said it's a slow burner.
Exactly. So this is going to be another beautiful story. In fact, Phil McGillivan and myself said earlier tonight, I'll need to prepare for the Sevco sequel, Downfall number 2 type thing. So the fun ahead is just superb.
Shouldn't be downfall, it should be down further.
Hey, brum bum. And if you use that, Phil, you need to give registered trademarks to Kevin. So yes, we'll be looking forward to that. Green Brigade, the boys mentioned earlier, don't raise your stuff, but you never walk alone, and wait for the bubble tap from our Andy. That is a joke, by the way, guys. Do not do that. Wait for the Green Brigade.
I think we as a fan group, in terms of 60,000 being there, are shocking at these things. We've never...
Organisation.
The Green Brigade are absolutely magnificent, right?
Yep.
but the extended fan group, the extended fans that go to the games are crap.
Remember
the one they had at Ibrox, and it was like you were given confetti and stuff like that, and they're like, don't do it until I can't remember when the huddle's happening.
Oh,
and then
okay.
players come out for the warm up and people are chucking things. And by the time they come out, the teams actually came to the huddle, most people never had then left. except all the people who follow the rules like me. I'm like, stop throwing it.
Not yet.
But it was so it would be nice if we could just all do it at the right point to make sure it has the maximum effect, because it's going to be four sides of the stadium.
We're one of these supports that kind of makes paper airplanes out the cards and starts throwing each other and throwing them at stewards.
But then that's your official ones. This is the
Although that was good at Ibrox when they did was it the flags or they had some flags, and then every second seat had a flag and every fourth seat had a green or white sheet of paper depending where you were sitting. Then so when they did it at Ibrox, and it's good because it's obviously a bit easier to do when it is just one stand and it happens.
Of course, this is a big ask.
And then it was everybody firing the papers up in a ball, and it was like, I don't know, double A3 size or something like that. And they were it was like big massive snowballs, green and white snowballs all hitting the people in the front, so it was quite funny. But please hold it up at the correct point.
The correct point, yes. And if you're listening to this, tell all your pals who don't listen to this and tell them to tell their pals, and let's pull this off. Good luck to the Green Brigade.
God bless these guys as well, because I mean, everything that they do is just absolutely magnificent. And I read something today that it's costing them 10 grand.
Yes,
for
and
this,
credit
for
to
this
everybody
display.
who's contributed to
That's
that.
just
They're on a campaign for that.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yep,
wonderful.
Particularly the way they're treated by not only enemies of the club, but at times the hierarchy of the club. And I think it's important that the rank and file actually appreciate and understand the effort and the work that these guys have Celtic in their heart. And I've got to say, and another mention to Stephen today, we did speak for about an hour and a half this morning.
Did you guys do any work?
Try not to, but and it was one of the things that at times I love them, and I just wish there's certain wee things that they would just change. But by and large, things like this, they've got Celtic in their heart.
Totally.
They just live, eat, breathe, sleep Celtic, and we should be congratulating them at every opportunity and making sure that we support the work they're doing, and even indirectly when the way they're getting treated with the enemies of the club, including the police, and I know they've got kind of fighting funds and stuff like that for when people are being incorrectly arrested for nothing and stuff. So
that's right.
Sorry, part of the political broadcast.
No, definitely.
Sorry.
Pure respect to the boys.
Summed up perfectly, of course, by Neil walking over with the
championship trophy
last
true.
year, plonking
Nice
in front of them and walking away. Absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant clapping.
Definitely. Now, we have to pay credit to someone else. Someone amongst us. Is that correct?
It is.
Andy boy.
Can I just inform you all that on the 6th of August, during the Young Team Special, I raised a serious point about liking the player Mo Bangura.
You were heavily ridiculed for it.
Yes, pelters if you will.
We will, yes we will.
And I'd like to inform you that he's banging the gongs in at AIK.com.
And he's back in December.
He is.
Coming back in December. Your boy Bangura.
And I stuck up for you at that time. Well, if you want to go and
quite
check that back.
quickly, I thought you stuck up for him.
Look at their faces running at this table.
Kevin, are you convinced by the turnaround and bang bang? No. No, he's glazed over. Andy, we'll just need to see what happens.
We'll just see in about 6 weeks' time when he's back. It's a new year, it's a new dawn.
It's a new dawn.
It's a new year, it's a new dawn. Is that one of your ancient songs that you listen to?
That's on the cassette. That's on the cassette. Right after Jennifer Rush. Brilliant. Right,
I've seen what the power of love's managed to get you involved in, Mr. Swan.
Right,
we'll not go there.
We'll leave that there. The last wee topic I'd scribbled down, of course, today, Scottish Cup, 4th round draw. So it's going to be the 1st or 2nd of December, and it's Celtic against Inverurie or Arbroath. There we go. after talking about Barcelona and excitement on Wednesday. Hey ho, that's the balance of football.
It's quite interesting how it's the 1st and 2nd of December, isn't it?
Aye, it's normally after Christmas.
It's normally the second week in January, second weekend in January, and it's they've brought it forward because of an enhanced number of teams or an increased number of teams in it. So
Right.
we look,
The
'cause
whole
I
formation.
thought maybe there was a free weekend. I couldn't understand it. Obviously,
The timing.
there was a Luxembourg game coming up, and I thought maybe because we're in a group of less teams in the Euro Championships or some qualifiers, but that's what it turns out to be, and it's because there's more teams in it.
Where's the Scottish Cup final being played this year?
Hampden, but then Hampden closes afterwards.
Is it
next
after?
year.
Is it after? Right.
So it's next year. It won't be 2013.
Yep.
It will be. Hampden will be closed.
And then Sevco will be playing there because they're going to get stripped of all their assets. Hey, but that's for another podcast. So let's go to Shambolic.
Shambolic.
Right, Shambolic. Thank you, Chick, for that. If you've not listened to the show, Shambolic is where I throw these boys a wee key phrase or a keyword and they can take it whatever way they want, different memories and stories and anecdotes that they have of the lovely Celtic. So what I gave them this week was old heroes. And what inspired that was the Jimmy McGrory event that the fantastic Celtic Grave Society put on recently. And of course, if you're a friend and a fan of Hill Hill Media, get onto the Paradise Report podcast from our good friend Chris Kujama, because he records all the Celtic Grave stuff, and that was yet another superb podcast recording of that event. So get onto that if you've not listened to it. So that inspired the kind of thinking behind it. So guys, I'll go round from left to right. You might have more than one. We'll come back to you if you have. Stephen, kick us off. What did that kind of lead you on to? And what obviously I said to the boys I should explain was old heroes could be a kind of a player that you've seen just at the end of their days. You know, they've been this famous character, and just through your youth coming to Celtic, you've managed to see them. Or it could be that it's just a guy you never saw, but it was one that was always spoken about. Everybody always, you know, in time it's going to be a kind of Larson figure. So that's what I kind of gave the boys to run with. So Stephen, what did that inspire you?
Oh, a few names popped out. I was lucky enough to see, right at the end of his career, I was lucky enough to see, my God, this is going to sound like I'm an ancient old fart, but I was...
Yeah.
I saw...
By far the oldest here.
By far? Okay.
I'll go with that.
Saw Bobby Lennox.
Bobby Lennox.
And,
do you remember him, Scott? Have you read about him?
Yeah, 1980 Scottish Cup semi-final versus Hibs.
Right.
Celtic won 5-0. George Best was in the Hibs side, and George McCluskey was in the... Bobby Lennox was in the Celtic side. Was fortunate enough for a number of years to watch Danny McGrain playing as well.
Yes. He's now in the backroom staff.
Indeed, as I
Danny boy.
stood in the jungle, used to rampage up and down the wing. Fantastic.
Any wing. That's how good he was. Any wing. Pick a wing.
Just so the boys put it into context, it was the best right back in the world in his day, and Scotland used to play him at left back just so they could put a Rangers player in at right back.
There you go. And you think it's bad?
It was a better left back
Than Scotland's best left back.
Yeah. Come on.
just to accommodate a hun.
As is the SFA way. Andy boy, what about yourself?
Another again.
By the way.
I know, don't worry, we're coming back to you. I was guaranteed that you would have more than one.
Again, a few names popped to mind.
Right.
Nakamura. I was a fan of Nakamura.
Right.
I liked...
You only left about 4 seasons ago.
I'm a young boy.
Aye, but you're older than 5.
Who else we got? Sean Maloney. I've always liked Sean Maloney. Stop
And
you
that,
smiling.
see, now that makes sense, because that'll be an old hero to him.
This
That's your young
this is the equivalent of
see?
see if you say Kenny Miller when it comes out, you're getting weighed in.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. I knew this would happen because you've got the young team boys on, us older gents as well. I thought, that'll be a nice mixture, because when it comes to us, you know, you're Maloney's, you mentioned them earlier, Jackie. You know, they were the young pups for us.
That's
you know, they
right.
were always kind of double trouble, always together. But for yourselves, you're right. You know, it's kind of the elder stages of his career and stuff, wasn't it?
Can I mention another one? Do you know who
Go on.
I really like?
Insult is
He
even
never
further.
done much. He never done much. But Roy Keane, when he came, Roy Keane,
Okay.
the brief
That was
period
certainly
he
the
was
end of
there.
his kind of career.
It was.
It's
okay.
because he was a kind of. He was a big star at Man United. He
That
didn't
landmark
even have to
signing.
do anything at Celtic. I think you were just excited to see
No, I
him.
was just at that age. I was just excited that
Aye.
he was there. Do you know what I mean?
That's
Don't worry
star
about it, so
celebrity.
was I. Even
I was
at
the
my
same- I was the kind of same with Robbie Keane. I
Roy Keane in the
thought
Celtic strip.
seeing Robbie Keane was kind of more exciting for me than Roy Keane. I couldn't remember if he came, but
Seen Roy Keane demolish in the hands at Ibrox.
Brilliant.
Playing
Majestic
centre park
performance.
while we Lenny was just absolutely magnificent because
A joy.
they were baying for his blood.
Oh,
Aye. And to be honest, other than that, and probably the game against Clyde, which was his debut,
Oh.
you can't actually
Don't
remember
bring up that game.
that many games kind of spring readily to mind that he played in.
No,
Eh,
it's just the fact we finally got him. It was one of those ones, wasn't
and
it?
he always was a big Celtic fan, do you know what I mean? Which is what made it kind of phenomenal. But aye, that's a good
Aye.
one.
And Scott, for you starting as a Celtic fan, who were the guys that the older guys were always talking about? Who were the heroes? You know, your dad, your uncles, or whoever might have mentioned.
what do you mean? Who were their heroes, or
Yes.
who was kind of in the team at the time?
Aye, just before
Who
you've
did
came
they
in.
speak about that
You know,
never-
who were they
you never
always
seen?
Well,
talking
obviously,
about?
like my kind of first Celtic game or whatever that I mentioned in the last podcast was I came in and all these heroes were basically Hearts and Sutton Larson. They're the kind of,
Right, the O'Neill guys.
and then what's kind of basically after that team. And Bobo Balde was everybody always talked
Big
about how he
heroes.
was the kind of.
So did you manage just to see them before they finished, or did
that's
they go
like-
before you started?
No, I managed to see him for
Right.
a few years, and then
Right.
then it might sound daft, seeing as we kind of obviously I was born when Seville happened, but my kind of favourite years were the Strachan's. See your kind of Scott McDonald, Barry Robson team, like Paul Hartley.
Right.
See
Aye.
this team were the one where the season we won in Venegura hit us like scored the last minute against Rangers, all that.
2008.
That was probably my favourite season, my favourite kind of team. I could pick a few players for that team. Boric even. Oh, everybody loves Boric, I think.
Apart from the Southampton fans.
Apart from the Southampton fans, certainly. Aye.
Well,
So those are younger pups to you, Kevin. who's the old heroes that pop in
Aye,
mind for yourself?
some-
Whether you've seen them or not.
Some of the Bobby Lennox, remember seeing him at a game down at Rugby Park,
Right.
the old Rugby Park, and Celtic demolished. I can't even remember. My God, it must have been late 70s.
Right.
And Celtic demolished Kilmarnock down there. And incidentally, I'm sure I checked it a wee while ago, and the crowd was something like 19,000 or something like that in those days for Celtic Kilmarnock down in Ayrshire, down in Kilmarnock.
Good.
Johnny Doyle, God rest him.
Oh wow.
Never seen enough of him. And one of the games that springs readily to mind was when we were playing at Pittodrie. I think we arrived with Jimmy McGrory, God rest him, and we were always a bit like Stephen, nip and tuck time wise. It's another euphemistic way of saying it, saying we were always late.
Always
I think we
late.
got in 5 minutes late to not even be sitting in our seats, and Johnny Doyle was marching up the tunnel. He'd been sent half in 5 minutes.
Who was that guy?
It was just mental, and I don't know if you haven't seen it, you need to have a look at the YouTube clip of him getting sent off. We spoke about it before in one of the podcasts against Ayr United, where he put a cross into the box and it scalped the referee and nearly knocked the referee out. And the referee got up and went over to his linesman and came over and gave Johnny Doyle the red card, saying that he deliberately hit it off his face.
Did he mean that?
Honestly,
I definitely
see
read.
the clip. You can't see if that was now. I mean, we talk about Doogie Gate and Dallas Gate and all those types of things, but that was incredible in that day. My personal one is a very 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 personal one, and You mentioned James McGrory when you sent it out, and I've...
Oh, here we go, yes.
So
Bit of history here.
Aye,
Here we go. What do we have in front of us?
So that my granda played for Celtic and unfortunately died a year before I was born. He was 50, I think, 51 when he died. So a fairly young man. Excuse me. In fact, maybe he was 49. Anyway, sorry. Fairly young man, and that's the one thing I regret, never ever having seen my granda play, and or even listening to stories that you used to say. And
Is there any footage of him of you?
No, I don't think so. So it was late 40s.
Right.
I've got black and white pictures of him, and my gran had a great picture in her house of a portrait taken for the 48, 49 kind of club picture, if you like.
Right.
And got loads of memorabilia in the house, a bit like tickets that she used to go, complimentary tickets that weren't used, and just amazing stuff. But when so my gran died back in March, and they were cleaning out the house, and you'd mentioned James McGrory, and I've got a photocopy of one of his playing contracts here.
Fantastic.
So,
here you go, boys. This is an exclusive on TikTok. History unfolding.
This minute of agreement entered between James McGrory, Secretary of and as representing Celtic Football Club Limited, and Patrick McCauley residing in obviously his address in Carfin.
Brilliant.
And it goes on. So
this lucrative contract, run us through the Nike deal, and
how
many tens of thousands he's getting.
We did have a laugh about that when I can't. There was something happened at the time when I got this, and we were talking about. But there was an issue with players' contracts and stuff like that. And this contract is 3 pages. It's got 12 clauses, which compared to contracts today probably run into hundreds and hundreds of pages.
A full legal
so it was the 1st of May, signed on the 1st of May 1949. He was paid £10 per week.
Brilliant. From
the 1st of May 1949 to the termination hereof. And it's interesting because at that point the club always held your registration, so you couldn't ever leave unless they sold you on, or you couldn't do anything until they released your registration. £10 per week in the playing season and £10 per week in the close season, with an additional £2 when playing in the first team, subject to a bonus of £1 per point in the first team and 10 shillings per point played in the second team.
Fantastic.
So it says that it runs from the this agreement shall expire on the 31st day of July 1950. So it was a one year contract, and it's signed by James McGrory, manager of Celtic.
Fantastic.
And it's absolutely phenomenal. It's so from a personal point of view, that's the one person, the one. And if I could turn a time machine and turn the clock and go back in time, it wouldn't be to Black Sunday, it wouldn't be to Seville, it'd be going to watch my granda playing against the now defunct Huns.
A true old hero, definitely. The defunct Huns. Brilliant.
He played in an era when Celtic were at one of the most unsuccessful periods. And the other thing was somebody tweeted something out today, a picture of Charlie Tully. Charlie, so he played at Celtic. My granda was there when Charlie Tully came over, and they became best pals.
Jeez, oh man! See the chats you could have had, as you said.
My grand just used to just be cheeky chappy, and when I hear things about Charlie Tully, I think I'd just love to go back in time, watch two of them playing for Celtic, and then sit in the pub with him with a pint and just listen to the stories we tell. And it's the one thing, and a personal plea from me to anyone out there who collects match programmes. On the 1st of March 1997, there was a 2-page spread on my granda in the Celtic match programme, and we got loads of them and ended up giving them out to everyone. So I now don't have a programme, and there was you know how the Celtic collection site where you can go on and someone on there seemed to have one, and I emailed the guy and never ever get any feedback back. So MD out there who's got a Celtic Hearts programme for the 1st of March 1997 who would be interested in selling it on, because there's a 2-page spread on my granda on it, and I've got no other way of getting a hold of it. And one of the things it said was he was a classy player who unfortunately was born in the wrong and played in the wrong generation.
Right.
If he'd been playing now, he would have been transferred for £5 and £6, £7 million. But in those days, ended up leaving Celtic and going to Luton Town, and probably at 2 or 3 times his money going to Luton Town because Celtic wanted players to play for effectively nothing.
For buttons,
For the love of the club.
And if somebody can help on Twitter, what's your handle? They should get in touch.
At Kevin P. Macaulay.
At Kevin P. Macaulay. And
Thank
Macaulay is EY.
MCAULEY.
There you go. If anybody can help out, I'm sure there's guys that know about these collectors and stuff. So £10 a week. That reminds me of somebody's work contract. Stephen, back to you. Old heroes. Who else pops into your head?
The first guys, unfortunately, I'm going to disappoint everybody here, but the first.
It's not Kenny Miller, is it?
No. the first guy whose pictures from Scoop and Shoot I had up on my bedroom wall was Charlie Nick.
Oh no!
I know.
Charlie. Oh,
I think is equivalent.
can you explain to the young
guys
team what
talking-
Scoop and Shoot is? Because they think that's an alcoholic drink.
That's your,
Football magazine.
That's your 4-4-2s of the day.
There you go. Right, you with us?
So
Contained Royal Rovers. Royal Rovers cartoon strips and stuff. They were the days.
the days, absolutely brilliant.
Keep your Xboxes.
Absolutely.
So Charlie Nick, oh my God.
I'm afraid so. Charlie Nick and closely followed probably by Davy Provan were my equivalent to the young lads Nakamuras and what have you.
Yes, a very skillful foot in many ways, aye. You young boys want to throw anyone else into the mix? Is there old heroes that you missed out on? Old guys you went, oh God, I wish I had seen him actually.
Did you guys get to see, I mean, I've not even mentioned him, but he's probably my all-time Mr. Celtic.
You're going to say, no, I'm not going to say Lubo, are you?
That's what I was going to say. I just caught the
Tommy?
I just
No,
I
Tommy,
said
I
I kind of missed that.
Did you get to see Tommy Burns playing?
Oh, no.
No, too early for that.
No,
Aye.
but
He's my all-time
Just
Mr. Celtic.
when
I have
Mr.
to say.
Celtic.
when Kevin
aye.
was talking about Johnny Doyle, obviously it was about 15 years before I was born, and Celtic beat Real Madrid 2-0. About a month ago, on the ESPN Classic, I watched the full 90 minutes.
Did you?
The
This is at 3 o'clock in the morning.
The
by
2-0 against Real Madrid.
That was my
And-
first ever Celtic European away game at
And
age
that-
9.
There you go.
So
And Johnny Doyle,
eight.
that's the only game obviously a full game I've seen of him.
You've never
Full
seen a
night.
walk-on, and you will
Full-
never see a walk-on like that night ever in your entire life.
That's
Barcelona won't even compare to it. There's about 80,000 there
I was
that
going
night.
to say it sounded mental, but Johnny Doyle, it's only 90 minutes I'd seen him, but he was brilliant that night.
What a goal it was to the head of the back post, man. I don't know how he might have like a fried salmon.
as they say.
Aye, enjoy that.
It was. And then
Excellent.
George McCluskey scored. What a night that was. Celtic should have went through. They had a stone waller penalty no given to them in the Bernabeu at nothing each,
Right.
and they ended up getting beat 3-2. That was a quarter-final of the European Cup.
I've got my ticket stub still from that night, and it was £2.50 to get into the game.
Somewhere
You're sick.
Somewhere I got a match programme from the Bernabeu that Jimmy Mackay brought me back.
Aye.
I can always remember Jimmy Mackay saying to my dad passing it on to me, that if Celtic ever drew Madrid, that he would never give near it. He says they were like animals, chasing them down the streets with knives and stuff like that. He just said it was absolutely berserk. But I've got the match programme for somewhere in the house, probably. In fact, maybe even in Brian's loft, because I think when I get kicked out of the house before when I was younger, Brian just ended up taking all that stuff to his house.
everything.
It's probably up in his loft or something like that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, with all
He'll be on Twitter trying to sell you back.
To be honest, I'm sure he's actually. The appeal was probably half to him. I suspect he's probably one of the people that's got 10 of my programmes on my birthday of our granda.
He'll start a fake Twitter account just to try and scam you. First class, that was a good shout there. Johnny Doyle just bringing all the ages together there. I
It was
like
Kevin
that.
that mentioned it, they brought it back to me, but I didn't. Obviously, I've said a couple of times now that that's the only time I'd seen the full game
Aye.
of that team for that era, 1980 was it?
First class.
Aye, 1980.
First class, boys. Anybody throw in any more? We're going to wind us up. Any other wee names?
The only other player I wanted to mention, and I'm really disappointed that Kevin doesn't have him as one of his favourites. Although I absolutely can't. I can understand why he doesn't, given
It's not Kenny Miller, is
given
it?
what he's talking about there. No, it's a player that you've probably never heard of, but I'm sure Richard and Kevin have, and it was a guy by the name of Vic Davidson, who went by the nickname, Kevin, of VD.
For Dr. Quincy here. Brilliant. And there's some gesticulations going on that you can't see in the podcast. From syphilis to VD in 2 TikTok shows. And on that shambolic note, that is exactly where we'll wind it up. Well done. So,
Hydrocephalus. It was an easy mistake to make.
yes. So thanks to the panel tonight who have been
Stephen,
Andy.
Scott,
Kevin.
brilliant guys. And until the next time on TikTok, hail, hail.
Hail, hail. Into Barca.
The thing I want to see the most is the Glasgow Celtic score. I've been to Munich, been to Paris and Berlin. I watched injustice fall upon you in Turin, and I've shared the pain and glory with the friends that I have made as I dance from place to place in green and white on a worldwide tin parade.